and say good morning.
Right.
So,
I don't know if it's possible. Is everyone? Okay.
hi, Momo.
Morning, Bhante.
Good morning. Good morning. You have your cat.
There's the cat.
See?
Okay, Bhante.
Okay. Let us begin our metta recital. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely doing here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Now let us practice metta mindfulness meditation. We repeat these instructions over and over again because I believe this is what we should practice without too much confusion. Pay mindful attention to your breathing. Mindful attention is attention without greed, hatred, and delusion or conceptualizing, verbalizing. Pure attention just to notice what is there, meaning things as it is. As we breathe in, we experience the breath touching our nostrils, and then we experience the chest area expanding, abdominal area expanding. As we breathe out, abdominal area contracts, chest area contracts, the breath leaves our nostrils, and as we breathe in and out, we also notice there is a very brief pause between inhaling and exhaling. That also naturally happens. And then we feel the breath, we perceive the breath, we have intention to breathe, and we have a conscious to become aware of all this. Now, as we breathe out, we have another feeling, perceptions, thoughts, and awareness or consciousness. As we breathe in and out, form, feeling, perception, thought also moves in and out, so to say, but at least we feel them happening. And then, as there is nothing to excite or worry, the breath becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. The body becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. The mind becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. And then we let go of any rigidity, uptightness, and relax. When this happens, our greed for attachment to anything pleasant, also as we see them changing, we let them change, we cannot stop it, and that is how we let go of whatever is trying to make us stick or fixed. And there the thought of greed fades away. In Satipatthana Sutta we read, Abhijjado manasam vinaya loke. This loka is this body with mind and consciousness. Abhijja is clinging or greed, and that we tame or discipline. Then vinaya loke means, vinaya means disciplining this desire. Tame it, make it not active. And then also there is a moment of relaxing, further relaxing, when the tension or friction disappears. There we experience a feeling of deeper metta feeling, because tension, resentment, friction fades away. And then we experience a moment of compassion, no thought of cruelty, and compassion arises. Seeing this in our own personal experience as the characteristic of Dhamma, internally, personally, we experience them. We have joy seeing the truth, and then restlessness and worry fade away, and sleepiness and drowsiness fade away, because the mind becomes quite positively, wholesomely active. And then happiness arises, doubt fades away. Then we gain a degree of concentration. Seeing the reality, we keep paying attention to these experiences and gain concentration. This concentration is not making us like a vegetable or rock or some inanimate object. This concentration is very clear, the highest concentration in the fourth jhana. Also is pure with pure mindfulness and pure equanimity. Pure mindfulness sees the most subtle changes in our body, feeling, perceptions, thought and consciousness, as they do change all the time. And then there is nothing to excite, nothing to dispel. They all happen, they all arise and pass away. We don't have to do anything deliberately, but pay undivided mindful concentration attention or concentrated state of mind, sees these very subtle, deepest changes. With this awareness, we continue our practice. dukkha patta ca nidukkha, bhaya patta ca nibhaya, soka patta ca nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this wholesome wish for well-being and happiness of all beings, let us try to answer your questions. My friends will read the questions and I will answer them.
Bhante, in Vitaka Satana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha says that an arahant is in control of all his thoughts. Quote, he will think whatever thought he wishes to think. He will not think whatever thought he does not wish to think. In many other places, the Buddha uses the logic that since one cannot control his five aggregates, he cannot call them as, quote, I, mine, myself. If an arahant is able to fully control his thoughts, wouldn't he be able to call his thoughts as his or himself then?
Yeah, that is a good question. Yes, in Vitakasantana Sutta, before this was before the attainment of enlightenment, he said as a bodhisattva, he put his thought into two categories. Deliberately he could do that. You can do this. From your own experience, you know certain thoughts are harmful, bring harmful effect and painful, and you don't want to think of them. And that is what Buddha said in the same discourse, amanasikaraniya dhamma amanasikatabhang. You deliberately do not pay attention to those harmful thoughts. For example, if hatred arises in your mind, don't think of hatred or hating object, hating person, hating situation. Don't think of that. You can deliberately do that. Hate and so forth arise only in unenlightened person. In the Vitakasantana Sutta, Buddha may talk about unenlightened people. Unenlightened people have no control over their body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. And without your intention, if hatred arises, you immediately become mindful because the thought arose without your intention, but it arose. When it arose in the mind, your attention goes there, your consciousness goes there, your feeling goes there, and therefore you experience a negative feeling if the thought is unwholesome, unpleasant, painful. If the wholesome thought arose, all the wholesome feelings, wholesome perception, wholesome mental state, other mental states arise. So you cultivate it. This is how you balance these two kinds of thoughts that you do before you attain enlightenment. Once you attain enlightenment, you don't have these negative thoughts, and all you have is the peace, calm, relaxed mental state. If you, as an enlightened person, if you wish to discuss Dhamma, teach somebody Dhamma, wholesome thought arises. With that wholesome thought, he teaches. He will not have unwholesome thought at all. All thought that arises in his mind are wholesome thoughts. With this wholesome thought, he continued to teach. When that teaching is, while teaching, he is doing the teaching, he also uh, is mindful. With mindfulness, he teaches. So he has control of his thought, uh, but an enlightened person does not have a control of his thought. However, when he train mindfulness, he deliberately do not try not to pay attention to unwholesome thoughts. Uh, so this is the answer to your question, and I hope this answer is clear. You read the sutta again, Vitakka Santana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. You will see before his attainment of enlightenment, he had this unwholesome thought and wholesome thought. Then he put them into two categories and decided not to pay attention to unwholesome thought and pay attention to wholesome thoughts. And then he keeps thinking of developing wholesome thought all day, all night, until he gets very tired, and then mind calms down, settles down, and he had internal peace. Okay, next question.
Thank you, Bhante. The first precept is the undertaking to refrain from taking any form of life, including one's own. Yet, the Buddha seemed to condone, if not encourage, the suicides of Vakali and Godika, even declaring after Vakali's and Godika's suicides that Vakali and Godika had attained Nibbana. Could you please explain this apparent contradiction?
Yes, it appears to be contradictory, and among some people it is really a controversy. Yes, Godhika and Vakali, when they have reached the state of what you call attainment of arahanthood, they tried several times, it did not work, and then kept trying. By the way, that time they had only attained anagami state. They don't have hatred. That is for sure. If one kills oneself without attaining anagami, that person has anger or hatred. So these two individuals, Godhika and Vakali, had attained never eternal stage or anagami stage. It is not stated in the sutta specifically, but in their mind there was no hatred or anger. And now they wanted to use the feeling of pain as an object of meditation. You cannot do that before attaining anagami stage. Only one person attain anagami stage. In very rare occasion, the person sees that next moment is enlightenment. Next moment is enlightenment. So, using the pain, they practice the impermanence very, very sharply and clearly, and then they knew next moment they attain enlightenment. That is the moment they committed suicide and attain enlightenment. So when the Buddha saw Godhika, when Godhika, the story is that Godhika was going to pass away, and Mara came to the Buddha and said to the Buddha that your disciple so and so is going to commit suicide. Go and stop it, because Mara wants him to die. But Mara did not know that the Godika has already attained the never eternal state, and next moment he is going to pass away. So Buddha did not intervene, and he knew that he was going to attain full enlightenment next moment. So soon Godika committed suicide, and Buddha went there, and he told bhikkhus, the other bhikkhus asked what was his destination. Then Buddha said, you don't have to worry about it, he has attained full enlightenment. And therefore, when you kill someone, you have an intention to kill without knowing how much demerit you accumulate, without knowing anything about the other victim, without knowing your own mind, with delusion, with greed, with hatred, you commit, you kill. That, of course, is not condoned by anybody. But in this case, it is a very, very rare, very special occasion. That doesn't mean that he encourages everybody who has never returned his state to commit suicide. Not at all. Now these are very special, rare situations that we have to accept. Some such rare situation can arise in any tradition. So I don't think, of course among some people this is a question. Some people say it is wrong reporting, incorrect reporting, and so forth. They come up with all kind of interpretations without knowing exact situation. So this explanation you don't find in any text in this way, but as we know the way somebody attains enlightenment, we can see how exactly it might have happened. So I don't think there would be any problem in that state.
Bhante, I heard you explain craving as the mother of I. Can you explain this a bit further? Who is the father of I?
Father of I is the ignorance. Mother is craving. So I gave a very, sort of witty simile. Father is on one side, mother is on the other side, the I is in the middle. So I compared it to an onion. Onion, on and on with I in the middle. One side on is mother, other side on is father, middle I is I, ego. So ego cannot exist without greed, nor can it exist without ignorance. So ignorance sits on one side, greed sits on the other side, and support, nourish, help, feed their son, their child. The child of these two is I. In my simile, I said this I when born is genderless, no gender whatsoever. However, if I is born between X and X, that is the mother, greed. That I is called I am a girl. If this I is born between on the side of X and Y, that is father, that I is called I am a boy. But I in itself doesn't have any gender. Girl can call I, boy can call I, mixed genders can call I, it doesn't matter. But I itself in itself doesn't have a gender. And get nourishment and support from greed and ignorance. So to answer your question in brief, I must say the the mother is greed, father is ignorance. By the way, in Pali, greed is called tanha. Tanha. Tanha is feminine gender. Ignorance is called avidya. Is used masculine gender. So it is quite appropriate. I think avidya also actually in Pali feminine gender. Feminine gender. But for our simile, let us let us make avidya masculine and craving feminine. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
All right.
I think this is a question that many of us on any sort of spiritual path can relate to. This one to do with craving also. This person wants to know if you have a difficult person in your life, should you welcome the challenge of having this person so that you can sort of see your craving and aversion and grow through them? Or is it better to reject them, to stay away from difficult people?
Okay. I can look at it from different angles. One is that not to associate with fools is a blessing. Somebody is always nagging and troubling and troubling and troubling and troubling. He doesn't have common decent sense to live in somebody else. So he must be very foolish. Don't associate with them. That is one angle. And the other is that according to Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta and Mahasatipatthana Sutta and so forth, to live with disagreeable being, disagreeable place, disagreeable situation is pain, suffering. That is not to get what one wants. To get what one wants is suffering. Therefore, one must understand the suffering is caused by this difficult person. And then one tries to look at it as something impermanent and tries to use compassion for that person, try to educate him, try to be more mindful and so forth. You can use that to develop your own mind. Third angle is you need something to practice patience. You must pay him to stay with you so that you day and night, every moment you think, how can I practice patience? So you keep paying more and more attention to an impatient mental state. Every time that person does something to irritate you, look at your mind and try to see how much patience you can practice. Then you will congratulate yourself, oh, in spite of all these things, I don't lose my temper. I practice patience. As the Buddha said, patience is the greatest meditation. Khanti paramang tapo, titikha. This is the advice that Buddha gave to monks for 20 years before he introduced Patimokka rules for monks. He gave advised them every day, saying Khanti Paramanta. There are some other lines also to that stanza. starting with Sabba Papa Sakaranang and Kusala Sopa Sampada, Sachitta Paryodapanang and so forth. One line in that, the series of lines is Kanti Paramang. Highest meditation is patience. And so you can practice, look at this situation from these three angles. One is to practice mindfulness, other is to practice compassion, third is to practice patience. All these are wonderful mental states for us to cultivate. Another question.
Bhante, this question relates to Sankara. Does the word Sankara have more meanings than one? Some references are as follows. Sankara Dharmayo, referenced in the last words of the Buddha. What is the meaning of Sankara in this reference?
Okay.
And then there's just one other. Sankara in five aggregates. What is the meaning of Sankara in in five aggregates?
I think if you have not been attending my series of talks on Sankara. From the beginning of dependent origination series, I'm still on dependent origination series of talks. At the very beginning, I gave a whole range of meaning, usages of Sankara. Yes, you mentioned two of them. Sankara in the five aggregate. Sankara in the five aggregates are volition. Volition means kamma. So sankara is used for kamma. Sankara is used for anything that comes into existence through causes and conditions. Anything. Entire universe is sankhara or sankhata. Now sankhara is the cause, sankhata is the result. Always there is a cause and result, cause and result, cause and result, cause and effect. Cause and effect, cause and effect, always. Always, everywhere. So everything in that sense is sankhara. And inhaling and exhaling is sankhara. It is called body conditioner, kaya sankhara. Kaya sankhara is body conditioner. What is that? Inhaling and exhaling is body conditioner. How inhaling and exhaling conditions the body? Only when we have oxygen that we can live. So, of course, we need some other things, but the main thing is oxygen. Inhaling, exhaling brings oxygen to our body and keeps every tiny trillions of cells in this body alive. Oxygen keeps trillions of cells in our body alive. In this way, inhaling, exhaling is called body conditioner. And when we talk, we have to think. We have to think before we talk. And therefore, thinking is called verbal conditioner or word conditioner. Then feeling and perceptions or sanya vedana are called mind conditioner. Mind conditioner. Then there are other conditioners like ayu sankhara and jivita sankhara. Ayu sankhara means all conditions that we need to live, all of them, called ayu sankhara. Jivita sankhara means when we die after attainment of full enlightenment, then life continuum comes to an end. That is called ayu sankhara. Therefore, there are many meanings of the word sankhara. You mentioned two of them. As you say, there are many other sankharas. And therefore, it is a very good question. And I think the answer must satisfy you. Next question.
Okay. Uh, Please teach me the mindfulness of body pain. Now I am feeling body pain. 2 days ago, I felt pain of right waist and right leg. I understood the cause of pain was the trouble of my waist level spine, thinking from the pain radiation. I used medicine. Since lying, I have been feeling the pain, standing, walking, or sitting and lying. I think that I inherit karma, so it is not appropriate to feel sad. I am trying mindfulness of pain. This is not my pain, just pain. However, I have to encourage myself before moving, and I wonder why my leg does not move according to my intention. I am trying to be calm. At chanting and metta bhavana, the pain is reduced, but after that, the pain is strong again. Sometimes I can feel relaxed, so I can understand the feeling of the pain is changing. What can I do next? Please give me your advice.
Well, if pain is due to some neurological problems, then you need to consult a neuroscientist, a neurologist, and do something. If it is, something that you have always very, very painful, I would suggest that you may try to meditate on lying down or sitting in a chair. Try to meditate. Then you can look at the pain sort of impartially with equanimous state of mind to see it rising and passing away, so that you can get some solace and some comfort. And if that works, you continue to do that. If it is something neurological, I think I advise you to see a specialist on neurologist and get some treatment and follow their advice in addition to your practicing mindfulness of the pain. In normal circumstances, when pain arises, we pay attention to pain and be mindful of its arising and passing, mindful of its impermanent nature. Then that pain will no longer be there. Your mind will remain on your breathing, which is sort of impartial. It's neither painful nor pleasant, but all neither pleasant nor painful, neutral or equanimous feeling. So you can stay on that under normal circumstances. If this is very special situation, which requires experts' advice, and then that might help you. And then as soon as you manage to see it fading away and disappearing, then you can continue paying mindful attention to the state where there is no pain and practice metta and see how this pain rising and falling, see its impermanent nature. I think that is what I can say this morning. And our time is almost up, and I have to wind this down. And let us continue our metta benediction, so to say. continue our wishing, metta, wish for all living beings, particularly those suffering from COVID-19. We want to wish them to be free from this pain and suffering and return to their regular normal life as very quickly. And there are others, as I mentioned every day, there are many thousands of people, as you all know, United States is the leader of everything, even in the death of COVID-19. I think 118,400 something already are dead, and there are many more thousands of people suffer a grief for losing their parents, relatives, and friends, and so on. We want them to be free from that grief, especially through the understanding of Dhamma. May they be relieved from pain and suffering. And there are many people who are trying to help those who are suffering from COVID-19, like doctors and nurses and so forth, and many hospital staffs, their facilities. They all are very kindly, compassionately, selflessly trying to help these people. We want them to be free from any side effects, any falling sick anytime, and may they be free from all these things and live long in very good, noble, good health to continue their noble work. And there are others financially supporting in many ways to promote peace and good health all over. And there are some other leaders some leaders have done wonderful job, taking very wise executive decisions to help these people. We want to wish them to be healthy and peaceful and courageous to take such steps. And there are some unwise, narrow-minded leaders. We want them to be wise, broad-minded, understanding, compassion, and wisdom to make right decision to help these people, forgetting their selfish agenda. May they take right decision. We want to wish them to have wisdom. Let them have wisdom, compassion to make right decision. With this wish, we want to end this morning's session and see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you for participating.